Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'll present you with the Burnice build and team guide. We're finally getting an S rank off-field DPS that has also very good anomaly build-up of fire, of course. She's a fire anomaly unit after all. Let's begin first with her main stats. For Drive Disc 4, you will want to go with anomaly proficiency. Since she is an anomaly unit, it's all about anomaly build-up and triggering anomalies / disorders. That is why you're going with anomaly proficiency. For slot 5, it's going to be fire damage bonus, and Drive Disc 6, it's going to be anomaly mastery. Burnice is pretty much a straight up anomaly character. We built her with anomaly proficiency, anomaly mastery to maximize anomaly damage and its build up. I would also like to have a quick note regarding Drive Disc 5. If you do not have fire damage bonus available, you can use attack percentage in the meantime. Pen ratio, on the other hand, can work as well, but you would have to have a lot of attack on your Burnice and also damage bonuses on her to make up of not having a fire damage orb. That is why I personally recommend just stick with fire damage orb and use attack percentage orb if you don't have a fire damage main stat available yet. Now let's talk about her Drive Disc set bonuses. The best in slot is going to be Chaos Jazz. At 2-piece, it's going to provide anomaly proficiency plus 30, but more importantly, at 4-piece, she will get a fire damage increase by 15%, and when she's off-field, the damage caused by her X special attacks and assist attacks is increased by 20%. Do know that her Embers, coordinated attacks, which also work off-field, are considered as assist attacks, so they will be enhanced by this set bonus, and also when she switches back onto the field, this buff will continue for 5 more seconds, so you'll have a nice burst window for her to use her X special attacks and do lots of damage when she's on the field. As for the 2 set piece bonus alongside Chaos Jazz, I recommend to go with 2-piece Freedom Blues, which provides an additional 30 anomaly proficiency. As for other options that you can use in the meantime until you get Chaos Jazz, I still highly recommend you do farm and get Chaos Jazz at the end of the day. But in the meantime, you can easily go with 4-piece Freedom Blues. This one will provide you a faster fire anomaly build-up, but of course it's not as strong as Chaos Jazz, but it's still a nice option to use in the meantime. However, if you do not have Freedom Blues available, but you have, let's say, Woodpecker Electro slaying around, you could be using Woodpecker Electro at least for the attack buff. The attack buff is still useful, of course, for anomaly characters, but the crit rate itself from the 2-piece set bonus is not going to be as valuable because you're not really focusing on crit on your Burnice, but you're focusing primarily on anomaly for her strong anomaly damage. As for the 2-piece options that you can use in the meantime, it can be Hormone Punk 2-piece set, which is 10% attack boost, or Inferno Metal, another 10% fire damage. I really do not recommend that you go farm Hormone Punk or either Inferno Metal for this, because this is just something to use in the meantime until you get Chaos Jazz, which is the set to go for your Burnice. Now let's talk about her V-Engine options. Let's begin with her signature V-Engine Flamemaker Shaker. This one has 714 base attack and 30% attack substat, that is. As for the passive, while off-field, she will gain 0.6 energy per second, which is very nice because she might be deprived of energy. We'll have to test out and see. When hitting an enemy with an X special attack or assist attack, the whipper damage increases by 3.5%, stacking up to 10 times, which would be 35% damage boost that lasts for 6 seconds. As a reminder again, her Embers, which is the coordinated attack / off-field damage, is considered an assist attack. And also while she's off-field, the stack effect will be doubled, so you're gonna get faster stacks while she's off-field with her Embers. Also, it's very nice that the repeated triggers will reset the duration, so you can easily maintain this while she's off-field. And upon obtaining the damage increase effect, if the number of the current stacks will be 5 or higher, she will also get a 50 anomaly proficiency buff. This anomaly proficiency buff does not stack and will last for 6 seconds. This is a very powerful, strong V-Engine for Burnice, and if you don't want to make your Burnice, of course, stronger, this would be one way to go about it. But fortunately, Burnice has quite a lot of other options as well that you can use, so you don't have to feel pressure to get her V-engine or anything like that. Let's begin with her Battle Pass option, Electro Lip Gloss. This V-engine can be pretty good if you can maintain the anomaly debuff on the target consistently, so you will get most out of this passive. I'll also quickly explain how does this V-engine work, because some people are still confused by it, and I'll try my best to explain it. So basically, whenever you inflict a target with attribute anomaly on the field, the equipper attack will be increased by 10%, and they will deal an additional 50% more damage to the target. Enemies inflicted with attribute anomaly, it's basically a debuff. Each attribute anomaly being inflicted on an enemy when you actually trigger it will leave a debuff on the enemy for a certain amount of time. For example, burn lasts 10 seconds. So if Burnice applies burn on an enemy, for those 10 seconds, that enemy, while it has that debuff, Burnice would have 10% attack increase and 15% more damage increase dealt to that target. So what matters for this V-engine is that you're constantly maintaining a debuff on the enemy so you can maintain this buff. If you can't do this consistently, then the value of this V-engine drops, and this V-engine does get also better with more copies, but do note that 5 copies of this is literally $50, and I don't recommend buying battle passes just for the V-engine. I would say if you're buying battle pass, it's primarily first and foremost because of the resources, and take this as a bonus. Oh yeah, I also forgot that, yeah, Burnice actually will not have a 10-second burn, but a 13-second burn thanks to her additional ability. And now let's talk about the free-to-play options, or options that you can get from gacha or completely free, not locked behind the battle pass or something like that. Let's begin with Whipping Gemini. This V-engine has an advanced stat of attack percentage, which is alright for Burnice, but more importantly, whenever a squad member inflicts an attribute anomaly on an enemy, the equipper will gain a buff that increases anomaly proficiency by 30, stacking up to 4 times. So this V-engine is pretty good for Burnice, but it also depends how often you can proc the anomaly on a target to get 4 stacks quicker. The faster you can get the stacks and more consistently you can have 3+ stacks, this should be a pretty good V-engine. If you're having difficulties or issues maintaining the anomaly proficiency buff from this V-engine, there are some other easier to use options. You can also go for that, which should be Rainforest Gourmet. This one has an anomaly proficiency 75 advanced stat, but more importantly, for every 10 energy consumed, the equipper will gain a buff that increases the attack by 2.5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. Do note that you'll be getting around 6+ stacks of this buff with Burnice, which should be around 24% attack boost, but it's still nevertheless a pretty ease of use and decent V-engine that you can use for your Burnice. Before I go into the team options, I would also like to quickly mention Fusion Compiler and why I don't really recommend this V-engine. Besides being a stat stick as an S rank with high base attack and having some attack percentage buff, the pen ratio, it's alright, but the problem itself is the passive, because Burnice coordinated attacks, Ember that is called, are considered as an assist attack, so will not be ramping up this anomaly proficiency buff at all. You'll only be able to get it from her X special attacks, which of course you will be using them, but unlike Grace, you're not going to be using them 3 in a row back to back, so you will never really get 3 stacks. So think of it like if you're using this V-engine, you'll have basically 25 anomaly proficiency, besides this base attack, 12% attack, and this 24% ratio. Perhaps you might be able to also squeeze 2 stacks at most, but I would say it's pretty much gonna be around 1 stack, because the way her X special skill works, you press it once, you will drain all your energy, the X special skill is done, and then you basically go off field with her again, so you're not gonna really have realistically more than 1 stack at the time. If you still find this valuable, or let's say already have this V-engine built, then you can of course use it and don't have to feel forced to like craft or build Whipping Gemini, because the resources in this game can dry up very quickly. So I do understand if you still want to keep using Fusion Compiler. And with that out of the way, now let's talk about her team options. Let's begin with the premium team first and foremost. You can play Jane plus Caesar with Burnice. This is going to be a pretty strong team. A lot of content is going to be physical / fire weakness for some time to come. So you'll have a very relatively easy time with this team composition. You can also replace Caesar with Lucy. So you can play Jane, Lucy with Burnice. Or you can replace Jane with Piper and just use Piper, Caesar with Burnice. And of course, you can also go with Lucy, Burnice with Caesar as well. You have a lot of options with Burnice plus Caesar being played together, but also like to talk, of course, about Caesarless team options as well. You can easily go with Lucy, Jane plus Burnice as well. You can also go with Seth plus Jane with Burnice, but do know that Seth is an electric element, and lots of the fights that are physical weak are usually paired up with fire weakness. That's why you will get a bit less value out of Seth. For those who don't know about weaknesses, weaknesses matter a lot / resistances, because it's not only reduced damage but also lower anomaly buildup / lower days accumulation from your units if you're fighting them against a neutral or resistant enemy compared to if you fight against their weakness. Then you can also go with Piper, Lucy and Burnice. This is a relatively free-to-play friendly team with 2 A rank units. We're also getting Lucy free in 1.2 patch, so you'll definitely have her. And if you happen to have Piper or you bought her from the shop, you can easily go Piper, Lucy with Burnice. Is also going to work pretty well. And lastly, you can also play something like Seth with Grace and Burnice. I don't think this team is going to be as good, but it's something definitely you can try, especially if enemies end up being weak to fire and electric. As of right now, there is no such combination. As far as I know, it's primarily fire plus physical weakness. But overall, with team compositions, I highly recommend that you play around enemy weaknesses and resistances so you can maximize your damage, stance, and anomaly buildup. Now let's also talk about Bangbu options. What are the best Bangbus to use for Burnice teams? Burnice as anomaly character, you will play her in anomaly based teams, so you want to use Bangbus that have anomaly buildup in them. So for example, Bangbus like Rocket Boo are going to be excellent with Burnice to have higher fire anomaly buildup on enemies. If you do have 2 fire teammates in the team, such as Burnice plus Lucy, you can easily go with Rocket Boo. On the other hand, if you're playing double physical in a Burnice team, then you can go with Bang Volver and you'll get more out of this one. Generally with Bangbus, just focus on the Bangbus that have good anomaly buildup for your Burnice anomaly teams, and also try your best to get their additional ability active as well if you can. Regarding 4-star options, like I already mentioned in my Caesar build guide video, I don't like Crybu at all because his little bombs will knock around the enemies, spread them apart, especially normal enemies, and it can be very frustrating. As for Lucky Boom, I also don't recommend this option because he's a close range melee type of Bangbu, and if enemies are moving a lot around, he might not even be hitting them compared to a ranged one such as Bang Volver. So yeah, I guess this is it for this video. I hope it gave you an idea how to go about it with Burnice. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask me down in the comments below, or even better, feel free to ask me in my streams. I stream every single day on Twitch / YouTube. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.